I lost my virginity at 25 years old. Up until I was 22, I had absolutely zero dating experience aside from trying to ask out a crush or two in high school. I had my first kiss at 24, and I managed to finally seal the deal with someone else a year later. Talk about being a late bloomer. The main thing that I learned from that whole part of my life is that sex is the peak of attraction, and attraction is a skill that can be learned. There were so many things that I had to learn and put into place before I finally lost my V card. I want to share my story on why it took me that long to get it done and what you can take from it if you're still a virgin yourself. So when I was a teenager, I had a few points of awareness when it came to sex. There was porn, there was my parents, and there was the fact that people that weren't me were doing it. I had preconceived notions on how to get to sex from TV shows and movies. First, I would have to get to know a girl that I liked and be brave enough to eventually ask her out. We would go on some dates, get to know each other a little bit better, and eventually have a romantic kiss at some point. Once we became boyfriend and girlfriend, we would bounce around the idea of having sex and then eventually agree upon a time to go to one of our houses when our parents weren't there. And at that point, things would be like a little bit awkward, but once the clothes come off, then it pretty much just goes like porn. But I was not even close to having anything like that happen in high school. Like, I didn't find many girls at school attractive, and for the ones that I did, I either chose not to act or made cringeworthy attempts that were quickly rejected because I didn't even know them that well. Like, for one girl, I was just some guy in your class, and the next thing you know, you had a note in your binder asking you out. She never saw it coming. So I quit trying altogether and basically became asexual. And that was fine with me. I had no pressure to do anything with my dating life. The people I hung around were mostly dorky guys just like me who were single and comfortable with coasting through school. I did well enough socially to fit in and be unbothered. No one cared about my dating life, so I wasn't insecure about my situation. So when I went to college, I continued on this trajectory for a few more years. My roommates and I spent most of our free time after classes staying home to play video games. None of us were putting ourselves out there, and we all knew we were running the same boat. But deep down, I knew that if I wanted to start a family someday, I would have to find someone to date and build a relationship with, and that I couldn't just keep ignoring women. And so in my final year of college at age 22, I downloaded Tinder. I originally went into it just to check it out and meme, but then I thought, if I tried a little bit, I might be able to meet someone off of here. So I put on the best pictures that I had of myself and a meme bio for some personality. And for the first few days, I got nothing. But then I matched with a girl I'll call Elle, and she returned my meme energy. So we messaged back and forth for a bit, and I had enough social awareness to think that I should probably ask her out if the conversation's going so well. And she said yes. I couldn't believe it. This was someone that I could date and potentially become intimate with when the time was right. I liked her. I set a date up and I was riding that high, but then I instantly shattered that potential because I screenshotted some Snapchats of her and scared her away. That one moment devastated me because I thought I was about to finally get somewhere with my dating life. And so using online dating as a tool, I embarked on a long and arduous journey to figure out dating for myself. It took me a whole year after that to land me my very first date, and then a former friend of mine sabotaged my chance with her. My online dating game was gradually improving as I was continually swapping in better pictures of myself and getting more efficient at setting up dates. But I was always fumbling the actual dates. I had no plan on what to do except go in and talk to these girls, and that always led to nothing. But then I met a girl called Kate. I upped the energy up a bit on our date, but I was still afraid of making a move. So when the date was over, all I could do was ask for a second one and hope that she wouldn't ghost me. My prayers were answered, so I planned an elaborate second date for us. We would get some electric scooters, ride along the waterfront, stop and get some ice cream, and then go to a nearby beach where I would make my move. We get to the beach and I'm freaking out internally over what I'm about to do. But I mustered up my courage, told her to take off her helmet, looked her in her eyes, and I met her lips with mine. And at this moment, I had hope for myself again. I would continue with Kay, where I failed with Elle. So after we finished our scooter date, we went out for dinner, and she asked me about my dating experience and what I was looking for. I said that I had been on some dates here and there, and that I was looking to get into a relationship. She then asked me if I was a virgin. I chose to be honest, and I said yes. And at that point, I felt the vibe completely shift. She told me that she didn't want to jump into a relationship and that she still wanted to date around. That hurt to hear, because I knew that my honesty had just cost me everything. I walked her back to her car and told her that I wanted to see her again, but I was quivering because I felt like things were going to be over between us. We talked for a few more days, and eventually, she unmatched me, ending this interaction. I was crushed, but I carried on knowing that kissing was part of my playbook now, and I made breakthroughs while constantly crashing at the end. I had a wonderful date with a girl, then failed to take her home because I couldn't find my car for 30 minutes. I had a girl invite me back to her place where I made it to third base but failed the home run because I was drunk. I had the most attractive and interested girl I ever went out with at this point expecting me to take her home, but I crumbled under the pressure because I didn't know how to move forward, and I was insecure about still living with my parents. I went out with another girl the next day, walked her back to her apartment to use her bathroom, and then kissed and dipped, not knowing that I could have escalated. And so after a few years of having so many opportunities and failing to secure anything meaningful out of them, I sat at home alone on my 24th birthday and I contemplated paying for sex. I looked up an escort site, picked one that I liked, and I called her up. The price to end my anguish would be $400. But the only issue was that I had to wait for her to finish up with another client. And so I waited, and then I contemplated. Is this what I wanted? Will this make me happy? Can I be satisfied knowing that I had so many better opportunities in the past just to end up paying for it in the end? And in that moment, I evoked a new feeling. Resolve. I wasn't going down like this. I'm not unattractive. I can get dates. And I was going to keep trying no matter how many times I fail until I finally get it. So I declined the easy way out and continued forth on my journey. I made no additional progress for a whole another year, and that pushed me to move out and get my own place. But once I did that, COVID hit. So as my opportunities dwindled, I decided to fall back on my last resort. I drastically lowered my standards, ran my game on someone that I normally wouldn't even consider, and I finally lost my V card. It took me 25 years of life, 3 years of actively dating, many dates with women that I had potential with, and hundreds of microdecisions to finally close a single date in its entirety. So what did losing my virginity mean to me? To me, it was about overcoming a personal hurdle. Being a virgin was a state of being. All it meant was that I was someone who never had sex before. But I wanted it. I went out with women that I found attractive because I desired them, and some of them desired me too. But I was shown over and over that it was my responsibility to set things up for us to reach that point. And only after I was set up physically, logistically, and mentally was I able to break through. I learned a lot about myself in that time frame. I learned how to communicate man to woman, how to create emotional spikes, how to express myself in an attractive way, but most importantly, I learned to believe in my own value as a person and to continue to persevere in the face of failure until I finally succeeded. In my quest to build a relationship with someone else, I had to repair the relationship that I had with myself. I knew that I was not planning to have sex just once in this lifetime, but I had to learn how to get there first so I could know what the experience is like and how to improve on it. That's why I was not fixated on who I lost my virginity to, because it could have been Al, it could have been Kay, it could have been someone that I really liked that returned those feelings, and sex would have just been a stepping stone in our relationship. But it ended up just being a stepping stone for me to build confidence in myself as a sexual and masculine being. And so that's the end of the story of how I lost my virginity. Now that I've gone through it, here's what I have to say to people who still haven't done so. First off, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a virgin. People have their reasons, whether it's their choice or not. I think younger folks still in high school should be okay with not having sex, as they're basically still kids living with their parents, and they'd have to go out of their way just to do it. Not to mention that being careless can lead to heavy consequences if an unwanted pregnancy occurs. There's no shame in being a virgin, and people who do so are terrible human beings. But we also have to be socially aware of how we treat others based on their sexual experience. Even if it doesn't happen to you, your peers and people around you are living their own lives, and they may have sex for whatever reason. Maybe they got into a relationship or two and naturally progressed to that point. Maybe they gave someone a chance and things didn't pan out afterwards. Because just as I believe that we shouldn't shame people for being virgins, we also shouldn't demonize people for having sex. And the reason why I bring this up is because unless you're dedicating yourself to be with another virgin, you are more than likely going to encounter people that have some experience on you within your dating pool. And I don't want you to think less of them or have them think less of you as you pursue intimacy. Because having sex or not having sex doesn't make you a bad person. Having low character does. You should be judging your potential partners based on their character, and you can choose to be with people that are supportive and want to be with you. So that said, there are 3 specific groups of people that I want to address. To the people who have pledged to save themselves for the right person, situation, or marriage. If that is what you truly believe in doing, then I urge you to stand by it. No matter what value system led you to devote to this cause, whether for religious or personal reasons, stick to it. I reconciled with a high school friend of mine in the midst of my dating journey, and he had chosen this path because of his religion. All I could do was inform him of how extremely limited his dating pool would be and of potential consequences of being sexually inexperienced. But he remained steadfast to his beliefs, and I wish people who are on the same path the best of luck in finding who you're looking for. To the guys who are actively seeking to lose their virginity, I know that the path to your first time is probably stressing the hell out of you. But remember what I said at the very beginning. Sex is the peak of attraction, and attraction is a skill. You have to learn how to attract a woman before you can even think about doing anything more. There's a general sequence of events that needs to happen to get to sex. Porn doesn't teach you this. If I was able to condense everything that I learned from all those years of dates, I probably could have lost my V card a lot sooner. It took me 3 years to develop the complete framework to close a single date. But it is what it is, so go learn how to be as attractive as possible. Learn how to attract the woman that you want, and create the relationship for yourself that you desire. And when it's time to take on the moment, make sure to have consent, wear a rubber so you don't risk an unwanted pregnancy, and try to enjoy the moment the best you can. It probably won't be good or take very long, but that's okay. It's like that. And finally, for the guys who are potentially coping as the first group, but may actually be in the second one, hear me out. I've watched other videos around this topic, and I have seen guys who have lost their V cards early on turn around and tell you to delay your own gratification until marriage or until you find the one. They will tell you that they've slept around here and there and then demonize other people for doing the exact same thing. They will tell you that pursuing sex is meaningless, that you should devote your time and effort to other aspects of your life, and that you should be content with being a virgin for a very long time until it just somehow comes to you. And so maybe you adopted those value systems as your own, and you tell people that you're proud to still be a virgin. But deep down, that's not what you want. You don't want to be a 40-year-old virgin. You still desire women. You see a chick that you find attractive, and your brain instantly hits a switch. You want her. You're watching porn and you're jacking off. Your mind wants sex. You want sex. And you know what? It's completely fine to have these desires. We're only human after all, and we're biologically wired to desire sex. But you don't need to suppress it, especially if it's coming from hypocrites who've indulged themselves already. Instead, you should learn how to cultivate the desire so you can get something meaningful out of it. You shouldn't be looking to porn for this, because you should be actually learning how to attract an entire other person to be comfortable with being intimate with you. There's a heavy toll to pay if you're not responsible in the way that you do so. So if this is your line of thinking, ask yourself, is this the value system that you truly believe in? Or are you just using it as a crutch to not take action? If your dream woman came into your life and all of the pieces fell into place, would you give in to your desire? If the answer is yes, you don't need to delude yourself into saying no for the sake of maintaining a false front. It's okay to desire sex. Don't let people who don't even know you tell you that you're wrong for doing so. Because at the end of the day, no matter what path you're on, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a virgin. People have their own reasons whether it's their choice or not. But the most important thing is that you can place whatever value you have on yourself being a virgin. Maybe you're saving yourself for the right person or moment. Maybe it just hasn't happened to you yet, and you're doing the best that you can to make things happen. Maybe it's an insecurity that you want to get past so you can move on with your life. But whatever it is not a badge of shame. You get to define what being a virgin means to you. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. And so we've reached the end of this video. If you're still here, I appreciate you very much for taking the time to listen to my story, and I hope you've gained some value out of my insights. I'd appreciate you giving this video a like and subscribing if you haven't already. Leave a comment if you have any thoughts or questions. If you're interested in joining a community with other like-minded individuals trying to get better at things such as fitness, dating, and fashion, come join the Basecamp Discord. If you'd like to schedule a consultation call with me to get advice on anything, link is down below. I'll also leave my email if you'd like to send me a personal question. That's all for now. Stay based, y'all. Bye-bye.